I've done a new version of the opening theme music. I don't like it. Welcome to the Time Treadmill. I'm Ron, and these are my sweaty thoughts about Doctor Who. After a year and a half off the airwaves, Doctor Who finally returns with The Trial of a Time Lord, an epic 14-part story, easily the longest singular story in the show's history. Except that it's not really a singular story. Really, it's 3 separate stories with a framing device around them. And so, for my money, and for most people's money, the Daleks' master plan continues to reign supreme as the longest single story in Doctor Who history. With the return of this season, Doctor Who goes back to 25-minute episodes instead of the experimental 45-minute episodes that ran the year prior. But the episode count was not altered. And so this season, instead of getting the usual 22-ish episodes in a single 25-minute episode season, it only has the 14, which means the whole thing runs 3 months of weekly episodes and is all done. And this right here, this is Colin Baker's last chance to redeem himself and sell himself as the Doctor for the people and convince the BBC not to cancel him. You can guess how that turns out. As I mentioned at the beginning, this has a brand new opening title sequence. Well, the title sequence itself remains the same, but the music, the score, is a new arrangement of the theme song, and it is, without question, my least favorite of the entire 6-decade history of the show. It's just bland and unmemorable and disappointing, and I'll be glad when it's gone. As for the story itself, it has a framing sequence of the Doctor arriving compelled in front of a Gallifreyan trial under accusation of meddling in the affairs of other planets, which is exactly what the Doctor was punished for at the end of War Games. So it's a rehash of that, except we get to have an entire space trial. And if you've been watching this for any length of time, you know how I feel about space trials. So, the framing sequence for me is a total bust. It's your standard courtroom manufactured drama, bickering and pointless, and does nothing to make the show more interesting. As for this first story itself, the first 4 parts of Trial of a Time Lord are colloquially referred to as The Mysterious Planet, in which the Doctor and Perry arrive on a planet that is remarkably like Earth. So remarkably like Earth that one might even think it was Earth, but that would be a shocking twist ending. I don't know. It's just, it's a Robert Holmes script, and it has its selling points, but a lot of it is just retreads over well-worn science fiction tropes of a post-apocalyptic planet where there's one group of survivors up on the surface who are free people leading a tribalistic life, and then there's a set of survivors in a hidden underground bunker who don't even know the above ground exists, and they're being held in the thrall of the immortal one, who is just a giant maintenance robot who's following his programming to the T. I don't know. It's just all fairly mediocre and uninspired, and it is not at all shocking to me that this story did not inspire the fantastic viewership to redeem Colin Baker and keep the show alive. But again, to be perfectly clear, I don't pin any of that on Colin Baker. It's 100% on the producers and writers and just the production in general. You can only work with the script you're given, you know? The other noteworthy thing about this story is this is the point where the BBC stopped filming exterior scenes on film and instead shot all of the exterior things on videotape, and you can tell immediately. And it's not good or bad, it's just noticeably different that the exteriors are not shot on film anymore. They have that same quality as the interior shots, and one could argue that it blends better overall and lends a consistent feel to the show, but in either case, it's different and noticeable. So there's that. Beyond that, really, the only redeeming thing going on about this story is the character of Sabalon Glitz, who will come back again in the 7th Doctor era in a noteworthy story. But I guess I'll get there in a couple of weeks. But That's not a whole lot to hang your hat on, and it's kind of a disappointing start to a mega story arc like the Trial of a Time Lord. I have 6 more days left of this space trial. God help me. I'll see you tomorrow.